Alright, so I really don't have a purpose for this stream other than to, I guess, vent about shit maybe. That's fucking going on in the world maybe a little bit, and I'm gonna smoke a cigar and I'm gonna drink a little bit of Backwoods Bastard by Founders. So even though both the cigar I'm having and the beer are gonna be sort of both are strong things, it should still be an enjoyable experience, I would say. So I'm gonna I go ahead and maybe we'll talk about beer. I don't know. That's something like that. I don't know. Yeah, so we have the beer poured. I think I'll cut this cigar. We have here a La Gloria Cubana. This is probably it's a pretty popular cigar. It was very, very popular in the late 20th century, and it still is a pretty popular cigar. This is the Series R, I believe, and these are probably the most popular of the Gloria Cubana. I don't know, I'm doing this mainly because when I did the How to Smoke Cigar video, I kind of enjoyed, doing that and talking about stuff. So, let's go ahead and do this shit. So we have the cap, shoulder, foot band. Let's see here. It's always better to cut small, and then if you need to, cut a little more off. It's better to have not enough than too much. Okay. Draws good. This feels pretty tightly wrapped. This is supposed to be like a really full-bodied cigar that's supposed to be, I guess, kind of like, I did kind of cut it at like an angle here, and that's kind of purposeful. Some people like it like really even more angled, but that's not me. This is supposed to be sort of going back to the whole, the whole Cuban thing. The Cuban cigars, even though these are I believe made in Miami, and they are made from the Dominican type seeds type of thing. All right, draws good. Let's go ahead and light this motherfucker, and then we'll start talking about something other than this. Oh, got a little bit of flame on there. That's okay. Just toasting a little bit here. Toasting. Let the lighter have a break here. Getting there. I think we have most of the top toasted, so I'll probably just go ahead and I love the aroma of the smoke coming off of this. Okay. Okay. Not the best job I've ever done. I've done better than this, let me tell you. See, that side is not completely lit. That's my problem. Better. Okay. Probably won't be even. And probably because I kind of did a suck-ass job, but it's okay. It's still pretty good here. Yeah. Not my best, but it's better than, even if you do fuck up here, it's better to just, it's better to do this than to, you know, to just go in with a flame to an uncharred, to an untoasted end. So I've had a shitty day today, but can we talk a little bit about what's been happening with the fucking Harvey Weinstein people, or the Harvey Weinstein scandals? He's kind of like he was a big one, but he was kind of like the tip of the iceberg, if you will. He was kind of like a big, huge thing here, I guess. La Gloria Cubana is very good. It's a very good cigar. That Cuban Stock Classic I had the last time, I think that was really a little bit better. But I think we should talk a little bit and think about like the whole dynamic that you have when you are a person in power, of who you are to everyone else in the world. You know, talking about, and this isn't just in Hollywood, this is in everyone. Like, I mean, if you, a great, I guess, news source to watch is the Philip DeFranco Show here on YouTube, and he's just really a good person to watch. He does have ads on his stuff, on his shows, but he's not, I guess, that biased. He's more about talking about whether somebody is a good person, whether somebody is not. Yeah, he has like a thing that's called the douchebag of the day, I guess, where he talks about somebody who's a fucking asshole or whatever. He kind of just calls out bad people, and I love that. His shows are about news, of course, but he calls out people who are horrible, and I love that. It's awesome. But I don't know. So kind of there's it's not just Harvey Weinstein. There's been people in various companies who are in a position of power. Not just that, even there's Hollywood, like anybody who's a great actor who's trying to get into some film or whatever, like or a big actor, and there's a lot of women who are trying to get to know this person. Louis C.K. for one. Okay, I'm gonna talk about Louis C.K. and Kevin Spacey, and I think that's just. There are two actors that I loved. I should say, I love what they've done. I guess. I love the show Louis. I love Louis C.K.'s comedy. With Kevin Spacey, I love House of Cards, and they canceled, rightly so, but they canceled the 6th season they canceled production of it because of this whole thing with Kevin Spacey. Louis C.K. has a thing where he asks women if it's okay if he masturbates in front of them, that kind of thing. And that's kind of a lot of things like that you see, like with these people who are in power, who are a really good actor or something like that, where they will ask someone if they will stay so that they can masturbate in front of him. That's fucking nuts, I think. God, what the fuck is wrong with people, honestly? Like, ugh. Therefore, this video is now demonetized, I guarantee you. Another thing I want to discuss is the fucking apocalypse. I don't know. But talking about this whole dynamic of someone who's in power, let's say you're a CEO, you're somebody like Harvey Weinstein, who is this bigwig of this company or something like that, and you are in a place of power to where you can have power over people. People who want to be successful, people who want to get ahead, people who want to do good things with their life, people who want to get in movies, people who want a promotion, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's just nuts. I mean, because I would guess that when you take on a place of power like that, a big place of power in a company, or if you're a fantastic actor, something like that, you get this change in your mind, I guess. There probably was bad tendencies before that happened, but the fact that they're in this place of power just exacerbates the whole fucking thing. And it makes them turn into these fucking monsters who think that they can do whatever they want with anyone they want without consent. It's absolutely disgusting. The thing with Kevin Spacey was that back in the 80s, the actor Anthony Rapp, he tried to, like, bend him over a bed and tried to, like, have sex with him, and it was just, it's, wow, all this stuff is coming out. And this hashtag #MeToo is crazy, I think, that there's a hashtag called #MeToo, that ever since this whole Weinstein, the Weinstein thing happened, it's just like there's sort of, now that this is out, maybe it's time that we, you know, maybe it's okay to talk about it now. It's just kind of fucking fucked up that someone thinks that because of their job, their place of power, or who they are as a person, that they can say, I don't give a fuck about what you want, I don't give a fuck about your feelings, I don't give a fuck about your consent, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to get what I want from you, and then maybe you'll get what you want. It's a disgusting mindset. And also, Kevin Spacey, when this shit when Anthony Rapp brought this shit out, he told people about what happened. He brought this whole thing out, and Kevin Spacey is like, oh, he put out a tweet or something, and he was like, oh, I probably was drunk or whatever, and if something like that did happen, I'm so sorry it did, but I certainly don't remember it. And then he tries to hide under the fucking rainbow. He claims himself to be gay, and he said he's chosen now to live as a gay man. Ugh. Can't hide under the rainbow. Like, somebody, I can't forget who it was, but somebody said, it was like, somebody on Twitter was like, no, you can't hide under the rainbow. What a fucking cowardly thing to do. And also, like, even if you were drunk, it doesn't matter if you're drunk, if you're high, or what. If you went and you were drunk and high and you ran somebody over... Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish it would stay longer to let me see that. Damn. Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. You everybody who watches me, you guys are all awesome. But I wish that the super chat would let me read comment if somebody puts it on there. But I think that, let's say somebody runs somebody over when they're drunk or high. You're not going to get off because you were like, oh, I was drunk, therefore I'm not responsible. Not going to happen. It's just not going to. Doesn't matter if you're drunk, if you're high, or whatever. As long as you had any consciousness at all, you're going to be responsible for it. And I think it's disgusting for him to do that. And, I mean, I think it's also terrible because people like Weinstein, people like Louis C.K., people like Spacey, who produced movies and stuff like that I love, and it makes me sad as a person, especially because of how much I love House of Cards. If you haven't seen House of Cards, like, I want to watch it again, but I'm not going to because of this fucking, like, Kevin Spacey shit. Okay, I'm just not going to. Okay, it's just not. But it's a great show. It's a great show, okay, but I'm just going to give a spoiler on House of Cards. If you haven't seen House of Cards and you plan to, maybe you shouldn't listen to this, but this fucking guy, who's, like, basically trying to do political maneuvering to get the presidency, and he's just pretty much, he has this reporter who he's telling things to, and he fucks her or whatever, just to, as payment for telling her that stuff. And what happens is he ends up killing her. I can't remember what entirely happened, but he has a very, very manipulative, very horrible, like, just person. It's an awesome show to watch, but it's kind of ironic. I'm gonna say that he doesn't, like. There is also a scene in that show where his guard or whatever, there's like a weird gay, like, almost kissing scene in that show with his doorman, and it's or his guard or whatever, and it's fucking weird. I don't know. I just think it's disgusting to think that you are above the law. I mean, talking about legal, like, laws, that's a whole nother fucking can of whoop-ass. Okay, to say that, I mean, most laws, doesn't look too bad. Most laws are there for a reason. Like, you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't commit fraud, stuff like that. You shouldn't drive drunk. You shouldn't smoke meth. You shouldn't, there's some laws that I think are there for a reason. However, there are some laws that are questionable, and there are some laws that are just, I think, are somewhat difficult to obey. There was, like, until somewhat recently, there was a law that two people of the same sex couldn't get married. That, I think, was a bad law that has now been repealed. I mean, according to the law, marriage now means any two people, not just man and woman, but a man and a man, a woman and a woman, the whole rainbow now. But there are just some laws that that are not, that if might not be morally or ethically or entirely legally, like, real, or they should not be enforced. Sometimes, according to people like Henry David Thoreau, Mahatma Gandhi, or Mohandas Gandhi, I should say, people like them believe that you can go against such laws in a non-violent way. And I do believe in that. I do believe that you should be able to, to protest laws. It's a whole other thing, because there's protests that happen against certain laws. Well, at the same time, you have this issue where people who are protesting get arrested, they get beat, stuff like that. Stuff like in Ferguson or Baltimore, that kind of thing. Some protest is right, some protest is wrong. And I just got off the totally fucking wrong track, didn't I? I don't know. But I just think that where I got off track was to think that you're above the law is a bad thing. To think that you're above the law, most laws you should obey, because they're there for a reason, including you shouldn't rape. Stuff like that. You shouldn't do anything sexually without consent. Consent is that big key word there. And it's wrong. I think I've said what I want to say on that. Let's move on to another topic. Let's talk about this fucking adpocalypse, huh? The fucking adpocalypse. That's great. So the adpocalypse, as probably all of you know, is, in the words of Matt Zion. If you don't know who Matt Zion is, he's a content creator on a channel called Reckless Eating. And he says that this is the companies who produce ads and play their ads on YouTube grabbing YouTube by the balls and saying, only play our ads on videos that are family friendly. Which means that you can't say fuck. You can't. And there's an algorithm that goes through and flags videos, not really flags them, but they marks them as not advertiser friendly. They have that orange dollar sign. If it's green, that means it's monetized, and it's fine. But otherwise, it's just there's a little orange one, which means that that fucking algorithm marked it as not being advertiser friendly. Therefore, you're going to get limited to no ads. Basically meaning no ads, and you're fucked. So what happened with Reckless Eating, great channel by the way. I think if you like food challenges and food reviews type stuff, go watch him. They're awesome people. Matt Zion is the one who runs it, but there's a lot of people around him who participate. He had like 1,000 videos that were demonetized total, in a couple of videos he's made about it. He's kind of done a little bit better because of his Patreon thing, but my videos have been hit a few times. I'm not like, for me, it's not a huge deal. I make a little bit of money, like, it's a little bit of money. Like, I might make $100 every once in a while, every great once in a while. That's kind of that's the milestone, or the thing where you make that point. That's when you get money. So I get 100 every once in a while. But I only have 1,250 something subscribers, and but I do get some views, and therefore from that I do get some money. So I'm trying on some videos to not to try to not cuss so much, not just be more of a especially in my philosophy stuff. My philosophy stuff is what I put the most work in, so that's what I really want to be careful about cussing in. This video I don't give a fuck about as to whether it's monetized. I don't really care, because this is just kind of a venting a platform for me to fucking vent on about the shit that's going on. I have another cigar for tomorrow, so I'll probably do one tomorrow too. But it's just like like I said, it's not a big deal for me. I have a full-time job. YouTube is not my full-time job. I make my money from a company that I work full-time for. While for some content creators, basically they have gotten big enough to where, like Reckless Eating, like Jacqueline Glenn, like Mr. Repsion, couple of people. There's a lot of people who have gotten big enough to where they can make their living on what they do on YouTube, because they've got enough views, enough subscribers, stuff like that, to where they can make this their job, making videos their job. So I'm worried about them. I'm worried about basically, like, my two favorite channels that I watch on YouTube are, like I said, Reckless Eating. The other one is a channel called This Is Dan Bell, where he does a couple different series which I really like. One is called Another Dirty Room, where he goes into a really filthy hotel, dissects the place. You know, him and his friends, they kind of look at everything, and they kind of, you know, give their rating as to how shitty it is. The second one would be, his second series is the Dead Malls. And dead malls are a big deal here. Dead malls are a huge issue here in the U.S. Probably in other countries too, but in like the 60s and 70s, as you know, there's a huge mall craze, to where they made tons and tons of malls, indoor malls, you know, where it's, you know, you have a lot of stores, a couple big stores or anchors, and that's, you know, kind of how they did business. A couple of them, there are malls that still flourish, but I mean, it's more of I mean, there's online shopping, there's you know, outdoor open air malls which probably do better. It really depends as to why malls don't do well anymore. And Dan Bell, one of his series, he goes into malls, he films everything, talks about the history of the mall, stuff like that, and I really love it. It sounds terrible, but when you watch it on the channel This Is Dan Bell, it's just awesome. And he has a lot of other stuff, like where he goes into, him and his friend Will, you know, go into abandoned buildings and look at this awesome shit. And well, they look at, you know, abandoned buildings, and they look at cool stuff, you know. And I love to watch it. He has two channels, one main channel which is called This Is Dan Bell, and another like regular filming channel. Those two creators I'm very worried about. They both have Patreons, which both helps them, but I'm very worried about them because YouTube, I'm going to go back to another Matt Zion analogy. YouTube is like the only media venue where you can put your stuff on YouTube, make money doing it, and people will see it. There's places like Dailymotion, Vimeo, stuff like that, where you can put your videos, but it won't get as many viewers, and you won't make money, if any. There's Twitch for gamers, and Matt Zion does do that, but I don't know. It's kind of, but you know, and Dan Bell has a Patreon, and so does Matt Zion on Reckless Eating. So they've gotten better, but it's still, I'm worried that they won't be able to do what they do anymore. And Matt Zion, back to the Matt Zion analogy. Matt Zion is like the wife beating husband, where we get beat, you know, we run away, we come back because YouTube is the only place we can go to do this, really. Get beat again, and it's constant. It's like battered woman syndrome. I shouldn't joke about that. That's something. Matt Zion has a very interesting humor, and I should not have used that analogy, because that battered woman syndrome is a horrible syndrome. Another problem with YouTube itself is that if you know, the more that they do this, the more they fuck their creators like that, is that the less good stuff is going to be on YouTube, and YouTube itself just might die, and we won't have this amazing thing called YouTube where we can watch a guy climbing a fucking crane, like James Kingston on the roofs, Ali Law, that kind of stuff, or we can go watch somebody make kabayaki, which is eels, where we can watch a food review, watch a beer review, watch philosophy stuff, watch anything. And it's not going to be as good anymore because YouTube fucks their content creators in the ass and doesn't really care. They say they're constantly trying to make their algorithm better to where videos which don't really have a problem don't get hit. So there's that. But I think it's bullshit, personally, because the couple times they've tried to fix it, it's gotten worse for people like Matt Zion, and it does worry me. I'm not a huge creator, so I mean it doesn't really affect me that much. I'll do what I want to do here, as long as YouTube is still alive, which probably will be for a while. But YouTube's time in the sun will get shorter and shorter the more they fuck their creators. So, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go play some Skyrim, I think, and finish off this bad boy, which has been here for half an hour. So I thank you all for watching. I really appreciate this. If you're watching while I'm streaming it, or if you're watching after the fact, I appreciate every single one of you. Have a good night.